I started hanging. I was in the parties. I was in them streets, okay? And so, but I realized that was part of the process to get to the next level. And so I started writing. I would sit at home and I would write episodes of The Cosby Show. I would go, yeah, I like the way that episode was, but I would have changed it. And I started writing scripts on notebook paper. So again, now I'm making my way through. Then I run across this other comedian that's new in town by the name of Martin Lawrence.
Martin Lawrence, yeah.
Right? And I'm going, he's funny. Dude is funny. Then I see him on TV on Star Search.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm going, yo, this dude right here, I seen this dude. I met him. And so now I'm like, I'm hanging out in this circle. I'm playing sports with these people on the weekends. I'm just being in the party scene. Because I hate to be in the party scene. I hated to be in it, but it became a part of my life.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I started hanging. I was in the parties. I was in them streets, okay? And so, but I realized that was part of the process to get to the next level. And so I started writing. I would sit at home and I would write episodes of The Cosby Show. I would go, yeah, I like the way that episode was, but I would have changed it. And I started writing scripts on notebook paper.
Oh, wow.
Literally. And so to just fast forward and get to the point, when I'm hanging out with Martin, by this time we're friends. We had booked a couple of shows together. We did a TV series together for ABC that he and I starred in with Eric LaSalle and who else was in that? Jim Brown, Isaac Hayes. It was like a spinoff of I'ma Get You Sucker. And I booked the role that Damon Wayans played in the movie. I booked it in the TV series, and Martin had the role that Kadeem Hardison played in the movie.
Okay.
So I can't remember the characters' names. Willie and I can't even remember the names.
Two brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we booked those roles, and then so from there I was like, okay, my career is getting ready to take off. Thank God that show didn't get picked up, because Martin may not be Martin at that time. You know what I'm saying? But it didn't get picked up. But now we forged a friendship. We're buddies at this time, and so. I remember going to a Clippers game, and Martin says to me, we're going together, and he says, faux pas, by the way, I'm a Laker fan, but we're going to the Clippers game, and he says to me, look, man, they want to do this show, and in those days, the comedians would do showcases like at the Comedy Store, and the networks and the studios would come out to see you do your thing. Mm-hmm. And he had done something, and I think HBO had taken an interest in him. And so they said, hey, we want to do something with you. So he says, I'm just telling you as common courtesy as a friend, basically. Probably wasn't in those words, but you get the gist. He was like, if I blow up, I don't want you to say that, I ain't look out for my boy. So you should tell me right now what it is that you're trying to do. Do you want to audition for one of the roles? And I was like, I saw the opportunity, man. I saw it so clear. I said, nah. I want to be in that writing room. I want to be on that writer's staff. He said, what? Nah, man, I'm talking about something realistic, like acting. I said, no, that's what I want to do. I want to be a writer. And he said to me, man, that's what the white boys do. And I said, I know, man, but I could write. Now he's shooting House Party at the time, House Party 2. Mm-hmm. And he says, just come down to the set and we'll talk about it. So I go down to the set the next day, and I take him a handful of scripts. I tell a stack. And I say, yo, man, I got these scripts. He's damn near in the middle of a scene. He goes, yo, man, put those in my dressing room. You can't bring those on the set. So I left him in his dressing room, and then I left. So he calls me up and says, where you go? I was looking for you. I said, man, I was letting you handle your business, man, but I left those scripts there. He said, all right, I check them out. I said, well, I don't know if he's ever going to read or whatever. He calls me the next day, and he says, bro, I am so sorry. I had no idea. Bro, you need to come to my house right now. I had no idea you were this talented. Did you write these scripts? I see every one of them. He said, whatever I do, you have to be my writer. Now I felt empowered. Now I felt like I found it. I found my lane.
Your hands start glowing. You start getting the glow. Start getting the glow.
You're
Like,
the master.
I was like this, it's really happening to me.
Yeah.
Still didn't necessarily believe it, but I was still like, it's happening. So now he starts taking me to all these meetings with him, and I'm going. And I go, one of the meetings we went to was at 20th Century Fox Studios, and we would drive on the lot. I'm going, we made it. We here. And when we go to the meeting, and I've told this story before, but it was just funny how it happened, because when we walk down the hall, we're seeing all these movie stars on the wall, from Charlie Chaplin to you name it. And we get there and they're like, Mr. Lawrence, they're waiting for you in the conference room. And he says, come on, Ben. And they're like, oh no, your friend can sit here in the waiting room. And and I said, cool, I'll sit here in the waiting room. And he looked at me like, what? And so he said, oh no, I'm not going in there if he can't come in. So
Wow.
lo and behold, I end up going in this meeting with him, and all these executives are in the meeting, all these white faces.
Yeah.
And John Bowman, who ended up creating the Martin Show, is in the room, young cat in his 30s. I'm probably early 20s at the time. And so they're asking me, so sir, what is it that you do? And Martin's like, yeah, tell them what you do. I said, well, I'm a writer, I write. Well, what have you written? Yeah, well, I got these Cosby Show scripts, and they're looking at me like
what the hell?
I said, Keenan's talking about letting me, write a couple of sketches for In Living Color. And, I'm playing the game,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And so they're like, yeah, well,
LA.
That's not going to work. Anyway, Martin, this is John Bowman. He's going to partner with you, and you guys are going to come up with something. So anyway, to make the long story short, I'm sitting there. I felt like an idiot at that time, but I still just played it. We leave the meeting. Martin don't say a word to me. He don't even speak to me. He's so infuriated with me at this time, and I couldn't understand why until later. We got to the car, and he just looked at me and said, look, man, don't never do that again. I said, what did I do? He said, bro, you belong in that meeting, man. Now, if you're going to take this ride with me, you got to believe in yourself. You got to learn your self-worth. If I took you in that meeting, you don't say, I'll sit outside. No, this is what they do. Mm-hmm. And it was amazing that a young cat like that understood that level of importance and respect in the game in our early 20s.
Wow.
He said, nah, man, you belong. But if you don't want to take the ride, I understand. And it was a very lonely ride home in the car that day, because I was like, I couldn't really understand why he was mad at me.
He wanted you to stand in your power.
Yeah, he wants you to boss up.
He wanted me to boss up, bro.
You to boss
up. He wanted me to boss up because he was ready to boss. He was bossing up.
That's what I'm about to say. So Martin had that in him already. He already knew past the talent, the business. He's like, nah. This
one of the strongest people that I've ever met in my entire life.
Wow.
A real boss, a real power broker, a guy that really understood his self-worth and understands it to this day, and still making moves. But anyway, after that, I get a phone call and they say, look, we know Martin wants you to be involved in his writing. Now, obviously, you're not going to write his show. You're not creating his show. We've already got somebody for that, but we want you to come in and talk to us. So I had to go do an interview with the head writer, John Bowman. And I started talking to John, and I said, I'm going to make him fall in love with me. He's going to like me because I'm going to say, I'm pushing all the right buttons.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. John was like this, hey, I need a guy like you around. So you know Martin's voice, right?
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that's my guy. I run with this dude every day. So he was like, okay, we're going to get you on that writing staff. And that's how I made the transition from PA to actor to writer. And once I got in that writer's room, I'm trying to tell you it was a love affair. I fell in love with the business even more. And I said, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm not supposed to be in front of the camera because I never had that confidence anyway.